Hey everybody, it's your girl Nail, and welcome to Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. Today I am out and about. My daughter had the Tiny Studio assistant. She was selected for jury duty in our great city of Tampa Bay this morning. So I am out and about, and I thought I would take you along with me as I, take you around the city for a few moments. And thank you so much for hanging out with me today. And I really appreciate all of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing to Simply Nail's Tiny Studio. We're doing a little something different, doing something a little new today. So it's a beautiful morning here in Tampa Bay, Florida. We are gearing up for a possible hurricane that's supposed to land, I guess, somewhere between Tuesday evening and Wednesday morning. So as usual here in Florida, it's a beautiful day. It's a beautiful, you wouldn't know that there is a major storm on the horizon, and this is how it looks: sunshiny, blue skies, all of those wonderful things. But as I have learned in my 18 years of experience of living here in Florida, the weather conditions can deteriorate really quickly. So I'm enjoying the calm before the storm. I really truly know what that means. I really fully understand the saying, the calm before the storm, just living here in Florida, because it's calm, it's a beautiful day, and as I said, it's sunshiny. I just love living in Florida. But at this time of year, between the months of August and October, the hurricane season really picks up, and it could be a very stressful time. So let's get on out here into these Tampa streets. Right now I'm near the University of Tampa, and I'm going to be heading back into downtown Tampa. It's a beautiful Monday morning, so I kind of dodged most of the traffic, but it's always busy here in Tampa on, a Monday morning, and any weekday morning, because a lot of people are moving down to Florida, and in particular to the Tampa Bay area. So I'm going to see if this young lady will mind me coming in. She looks like Sarah Huckabee Sanders over there. So I'm going I want to see if she'll let me in. She won't, so that's fine. Okay, I'm going to turn right on North Boulevard. As I said, I've been living in Tampa for about 18 years. I moved down here in 2005, August of 2005. And the reason I say that between the months of August and October are the most stressful months to live here in Florida. It's because hurricane season really picks up right around then. And when we moved here right about this time, maybe around August the 25th, somewhere around there, because a few days later we had the Katrina came by. And the only thing Tampa really received of Hurricane Katrina were the winds and the rain. And when people, Floridians, say, oh, well, we didn't get the hurricane, we just got the winds and the rain. The winds and the rains here in Florida are something else. They're not like the winds and rains of, let's say, where I come from, Michigan. Not at all. Not at all. It's something you have to get used to. I'm trying to fix the camera so you guys can see what I see out here today. I don't know if it's going to let me. I'm learning how to work my camera. So I'm down here on Platte, and I'm heading into downtown Detroit. I mean, downtown Tampa. But before we hit downtown Tampa, we're going to drive through Hyde Park, and that will lead us to Bayshore. So how have things been going in your life? I hope that you have been living with grace and that you have been implementing some form of self-care in your life, because you know life is truly, truly stressful. Things are going on every single day, and so that's why it's really important that we practice some form of self-care. So right now we are going through and heading through Hyde Park, which is a beautiful, beautiful neighborhood. And I really love this neighborhood. This neighborhood reminds me, Hyde Park reminds me of Highland Park, Michigan, when it was, you know, just beautiful when I was coming up. The homes are so beautiful, and I can't think of the style of homes here in Hyde Park, but they remind me of the style of homes in Highland Park, Michigan. I want to say Frank Lloyd Wright. I can't describe the homes per se, exactly the design, but I really believe they're designed along a bungalow style, Frank Lloyd Wright style of homes. Okay, we're pulling up to the school, Woodrow Wilson Middle School. This is a very beautiful, beautiful neighborhood here in Tampa, Florida. I moved to Tampa, Florida for multiple reasons, but the main reason I want to say, the reason why I am actually here in Tampa is because it was something that I manifested. And you may say, what do you mean, Nell? What do you mean you manifested it? Well, when I was a little girl growing up in Detroit, the winters were really, really brutal. And whenever the news would come on and I would watch the weather report, and if you are a Detroiter, a vintage Detroiter, then you would know, you would remember the late great Sonny Elliott. And whenever he would, you know, do his weather forecast, and I think he has been on all channels. I think he was on 2, 4, and 7. But whenever he would do his weather forecast, he would tell us that it would be freezing cold. Freezing cold here, you know, freezing cold in Detroit, Michigan. Just cold. You know, negative minus 2 degrees and all of that stuff. It's getting ready to snow. We're going to have a blizzard and all of those horrible things that happens in the wintertime in Detroit. And while he was telling us how cold it was, the camera would pan down to Florida. And in Florida, there would be a big sunshine, a big sunshiny face, and he would place a sunshiny face on the state of Florida, and he would say, it's really warm there. It's going to be 75 degrees there today. It's going to be 80 degrees. And I would be like, 80 degrees in December? No snow? Oh my goodness, that is wonderful. Wow, I would love to live in Florida. You know what? One day I am going to live in Florida. We are here in downtown Hyde Park. A lot of different restaurants are here. There's the Irish Pub 31, Irish 31, and Hyde Park is a very beautiful community with a lot of shopping, dining, places for you to exercise, walk, jog. Your children can bike here relatively safely. Hyde Park is a very beautiful community. All right, so I'm ready to go over these train tracks. Sometimes these train tracks can be really bumpy. We are leaving Hyde Park, and we are just moseying on down these beautiful, beautiful Tampa Bay streets. Now we are in the Soho district here in Tampa Bay. It is such a beautiful, beautiful Monday. So anyhow, as a kid, that's what I would say. I would say, you know what? I'm going to move to Florida. I am going to live in Florida because that's where I want to be in the dead of winter time. I don't want to be in Detroit with all this cold, all that cold weather, and snow. I want to be in Florida where the sunshine is. And I had no idea of how I was going to get there because my first inclination was to move to California because I had these dreams of becoming a singer, and California, as the Beverly Hillbillies told us, California is the place to be. I never made it to California, and that's still on my list of places to visit, but I somehow made it to Florida. I came down here in Florida in 2001 on vacation with my sister and my brother, and we had such a wonderful time here. We stayed on South Beach, and let me tell you something. I was sold. I was already sold as a child with moving to Florida for the weather. But when I came down on vacation, I had such a wonderful time here. Such a wonderful time, and I will never forget it. And I remember coming home, I remember telling my sister, I'm moving to Florida. I mean, I'm really moving to Florida. And I went home and I told my husband, I said, look, we are moving to Florida. And he was like, what? Girl? And I was like, yes, I'm moving to Florida. We're moving to Florida. And that's what happened. We eventually moved here, maybe, I should say 4 years later. We were living in Florida, and I absolutely love it. And even though the politics here in Florida is not the greatest, okay, the politics here in Florida sucks, but I'm here to tell you that, you know, I'm willing to do what I have to do to make life a little better, and I'm willing to use my voice and my resources to make living here in Florida for myself and other minorities like me, I'm willing to make it a better place because I love Florida too. And that's the reason why I go hard for Florida. I go hard for Tampa because I love this place. You know, I really do. Across the street there, we're on McDeal, and there is the Four Rivers Smokehouse. I have never visited Four Rivers Smokehouse, but it looks like it might be a destination I need to put on my to-do list. We're still in the Soho district of Florida, of Tampa Bay. And I am just so glad that my family, that we were able to move to Florida, especially when we did. I'm really glad that we were able to do so because my children were able to grow up in an area where they were able to meet people of different races. They were able to just be able to, hang around kids who were just African American. They were able to hang around kids who are Puerto Rican, Dominican, Cuban, white, Ghanaian, Haitian, did I say Jamaican? They were able to hang out with people who were, kids of all races. And that's the type of education I wanted to give them. We are now in South Tampa, another one of my really, really cool places to live here in Florida. And we're coming up on a major thoroughfare, which is Dale Mabry. Dale Mabry is like one of the major thoroughfares here in Tampa. There's Trader Joe's across the street. I don't know if you can see it. There's Trader Joe's. And then there is Bay Hair Health Center, Einstein Brothers Bagels, and Extreme Juice. I need some Extreme Juice to get myself pumped up. But I really don't buy juices anymore. I have a Vitamix that I invested in maybe about 5 years ago. And the Vitamix works very, very well. I bought the Vitamix, and I think it's the Vitamix 3500. I believe that's the model. And then I purchased the container or the mixer, the Vitamix mixer for where you mix dry things up. Like you can make peanut butter and different nut butters in it. You can mix, you can make flour and things of that nature in the other Vitamix. So I invested in the Vitamix products. So no, I don't buy juices like Extreme Juice. I just go ahead and make it at home. I mean, and why not? I mean, Vitamix is not cheap. So why not get your money's worth when you have a certain type of kitchen products and tools in your home? It doesn't make sense to spend money here and there when, you've already invested in something and, gotta use it. So, as I said, we're on Dale Mabry. This is a major thoroughfare. It's kind of like Woodward in Detroit, or whatever the major thoroughfare is in your city. But it takes you from south to north Tampa. And right now we are in South Tampa. And one of the things that I've noticed about South Tampa, there's a lot of growth happening here, and you see a lot of growth and a lot of development. But what you see is a lot of the homeowners who have who have lived here in South Tampa for 30, 40, 50 years or so, and they have traditional Floridian houses. What is happening is that when they die out, their family sells the property to a person who's interested in buying. And what happens is the person who buys the home is they tear the home down, and then they rebuild a monstrosity. And I don't want to say it's a monstrosity, but compared to the other homes in the area, it's a monstrosity. It's large. And I want to call it McMansions. That's what they build. And it has become, even though they are cute and it's nice, they dwarf or tower over the homes that are just, single story. And it becomes a problem because you have a lot of these small Floridian homes, and the next thing you know, you have these super sized McMansions, on your block. And yes, it does raise it does raise the value of your property. But for people who have lived here for 30, 40, 50 years and do not have the money or the income to, tear their structures down and build a McMansion, it can be a situation. And I think the Tampa Bay Times did a really good article, did a good series of reports on what's happening here in South Tampa. And it's basically what's happening in other places. I remember Chaz Bono talking about this happening where she lives in, I believe it's somewhere in I want to say Beverly Hills, where you have homes, that are older homes, maybe 100 years old or so, and they're selling. And what's happening is that the new owners are tearing down the property. Like there's one right there that they're tearing down the property and turning the structure into McMansions. So the house may have been sitting on a half acre or so, and it may be 2,500 square feet or less. And then they sell the property, and then the next thing you know, someone buys it, and then they get a contractor and they tear the house down, and now the house is what, 8 feet tall, and it's about 7,000 square feet now, So it's really interesting. Like there's a home, you could tell that it was redone. But and that home that I'm getting ready to come up on, as you see ahead, that's more than likely what has happened. And I'm looking 1, 2, and 3. More than likely that's what happened. They buy a home and then turn it into a McMansion. And hey, there's nothing wrong with that. But the interesting part is that you think about the people who used to live in this area, how they feel, I also believe that they're in that Tampa Bay Times article too. There were homeowners or long-time homeowners in this area who were saying that they felt pressured by real estate agents or realtors to, sell their home. Because people want the property because they want to build. So there are some issues about that. And I don't want to say it is gentrification related, because I don't think so, because South Tampa, or this part of South Tampa, was a pretty upper middle class neighborhood. However, this is what happens. I mean, I guess this is a conversation that we have to have, as a community, is regarding but you can't tell people what to do with their money. So like, there's a situation where they probably tore a house down and now they're rebuilding. And there's a house it looked like people live there. It looks abandoned, but because of the grass. But that's one thing about living in Florida as well, is that it's rainy season, and with rainy season, the grass grows. So either you have a good lawn service to help you keep your lawn looking great, or you need to have a couple of sons to come over and help you. There was another house I'm looking that looked like it was torn down and they're rebuilding. So it's like a epidemic in this area where that's happening. Thank you, sir. Because as you can see from me traveling here, you can see the homes that are foundational to the area, because they're, one-story homes, Florida style homes. And then you can also see the other homes peppered through that are what I call McMansions. I don't know what else to call them, but I call them McMansions. But my daughter sent me a text. She said that they watched a video for jury duty, so it looks like she's going to be there for a while. She might get picked, so that's a good experience for her. My tiny studio assistant. South Tampa is a beautiful, beautiful part of Tampa Bay. And as I said, there are many different areas in Tampa, Florida. Now I'm heading back towards Trader Joe's, and I am currently on McDeal. There's Trader Joe's. And there's Del Mabry, and we just came from Del Mabry. We were in the opposite direction. Currently I thought we were on McDeal. No, we are on Swan. We're going west on Swan Street. Now, if I were planning to go home, get back on the freeway, I would get on Del Mabry, and Del Mabry would take me to the freeway out to the suburbs of Tampa where I live. I live in Tampa Palms, so it would take me back in that direction. That's what South Del Mabry would take me towards the freeway. But we are heading into downtown Tampa, so I am going to continue where I am. I'm going to take Swan, and I'm trying to remember, is Swan going to take me to Kennedy, I'm not sure, but on Kennedy is where the Starbucks is, and that is where I want to go. I want to head to Starbucks because I need my morning coffee. Yes, I do. I wonder if there is a Starbucks over here. I'm sure there is one, but I am not familiar, because basically there is a Starbucks everywhere. But I'll probably go over and stop at on Kennedy to my husband had a dentist over here on Swan. Turn the air off and let's listen to some sounds. Let's listen to the sounds of Tampa Bay. It's a beautiful, beautiful day. Is that a restaurant? There's a restaurant or some type of business named Olivia. What a name. Across the street there is the Spring Boutique, the Spring of Tampa Bay. And look at that mural. It says, "Stop domestic violence. You are not alone." That's cool. I wonder if this is a place where women can go to maybe shop. Women who are fleeing domestic violence, maybe this is a place where they can go. Oh, yes, that's what it looks like. Looks like a thrift store. So that's good to know. Maybe I need to come over here and donate some clothes. I have clothes in storage right now. So maybe what I need to do is head over here and donate clothes. Need to take note of that. So I am going to make a left on Hines. South Tampa. I had a business meeting somewhere over here. Yep, here comes Kennedy. I had a business meeting somewhere over here. It was like an entrepreneurial session. I had a business for a few years, and we're back on Kennedy. I think this is turning into Kennedy. Yes, it is. And it was a cleaning business. I had a commercial and residential cleaning business, and I went to an entrepreneurial meeting for people who wanted to build their cleaning business. The name of my business was called Gulf Coast Executive